What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. We are down to two teams left in the NBA playoffs. It is officially time for the 2025 NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. So, I'm going to do what I've done for every other series. I'm going to go break down the key points, go through everything, give my prediction. You guys already know how we do this. So, basically, what I do for this series, how I predict it, is I break down five key factors for each team: the offense, the defense, the size of the team, the experience of the team, and how clutch the team is. Because, in my opinion, if you are good at all five of these things, you have a very good chance of winning an NBA championship. So, without further ado, let's hop into it. Let's go ahead and start with offense here. The first thing I looked at was points per game. So in the normal season, the Thunder had a pretty big advantage. They were at over 120 points per game, which ranked fourth, while the Pacers were only at 117, which ranked seventh. But in the playoffs, both teams are very, very even at 117 per game. So very even there. Not much an advantage for the Thunder there, just in the normal season. Next, I looked at three-point percentage. The Thunder also had an advantage in the normal season, shooting over 37%, which ranked sixth, while the Pacers were a little over 36%, so not much below, which ranked ninth. But in the playoffs, man, the playoffs, the Pacers are the number one team, shooting over 40% from three. They are shooting lights out, while the Thunder dropped down at only a little over 33%, which ranks 13th. So I give the Pacers the advantage there because they weren't that far behind in the normal season, and right now they are shooting lights out, man. Next thing I looked at was players. How many players do these teams have that score at least 15 points per game? Because in my opinion, a player that can score 15 points per game or more is an above average offensive player and is a true contributor on the offensive side of the ball, which makes a difference. In the normal season, the Thunder only had three main guys: J-Dub, Chet, and SGA. The Pacers had four: Halliburton, Siakam, Turner, and Mathurin. But when it comes to the playoff time, the Pacers dropped down to three. Mathurin hasn't really been playing that well. He hasn't really been playing that much. So it's just Siakam, Turner, and Halliburton. And the Thunder still have three. The Thunder still have the three main guys playing consistently. So I really don't give the Pacers an advantage there for having one more in the normal season, because in the playoffs, it's only three. So it's even there. And then the last thing I looked at was turnovers per game. Do these teams take care of the ball? And the Thunder ranked number one in the normal season at under 12 per game, while the Pacers were at over 13, which isn't still terrible. They still ranked fourth, but the Thunder have a pretty big advantage there. And in the playoffs, the Thunder still have a pretty big advantage. The Thunder are still under 12 in the playoffs, which ranks second, while the Pacers are over 12, which ranks fifth. So I give the Thunder the advantage here with the turnovers. So the Pacers actually held their own when you look at the stats with offense. They're the better three-point shooting team. They held their own when it comes to points per game. They held their own when it comes to players over 15 points per game. I do give the Thunder the advantage when it comes to turnovers. So it's tied 1-1 here, basically, if you're doing the scoring system here. But I'm still going to give the slight edge offensively to the Thunder. And the main factor I did to decide that was strength of opponent in the playoffs. The Pacers' first round, they played the Bucks, who were number 12 defensively, while the Thunder did play the Grizzlies, who aren't great. But the Grizzlies ranked 11th, so they're a better defensive team when you look at the stats. So that's a point for the Thunder. Second round, the Pacers did play the Cavs, who are like top 8, very, very good. While the Thunder played the Nuggets, who weren't even in the top 15. So you give the advantage to the Pacers there. So it's 1-1. But the main deciding factor is the conference finals. The Pacers played the Knicks, who also weren't even in the top 12, while the Thunder played the Timberwolves, who were top 5 defensively, I think. I think top 5, if not close to top 5, within the top 10 easily. So because of that, if you score that out, the Thunder have played harder defensives in the playoffs, and they're still pretty even when it comes to offensive stats. So because of that, I'm giving the Thunder the slight offensive edge. Next, let's go over to defense here. And OKC absolutely dominates, as expected. The first thing I looked at was defensive rating. In the normal season, the Thunder had the number one defensive rating at a little over 106, while the Pacers were 14th at over 113. Huge advantage there for the Thunder. In the playoffs, Thunder are still number one at under 105, 104.7, while the Pacers are still over 113, which ranks ninth. Huge advantage. Next, I looked at turnovers forced per game. Normal season, the Thunder at 17, which ranks 1. While the Pacers weren't bad at 15, which ranks 11th, but still a huge advantage. Playoffs, the Thunder bumped it up to 18, which ranks 1. While the Pacers dropped down to 14.2, which ranks 5th. Huge advantage for the Thunder. Next, I looked at steals per game. Normal season, Thunder at over 10 per game, which ranks 1. Pacers also not bad, 8.5, which ranks 9th. But still, huge advantage for the Thunder. Playoffs, Thunder bumped it up to 10.8, which ranks 1 again. While the Pacers were at 7.5, which ranks 8th. Not terrible, but still not even close. And the next thing I looked at was blocks per game. Normal season, Thunder over 5 per game, which ranks number 2. While actually, the Pacers ranked 6th, which I also over 5 per game. Pretty close there. Playoffs, the Thunder are still over 5 per game, which ranks 5th. Pacers over 5 per game, which ranks 4th. So blocks-wise, the Pacers are pretty even. But everything else, steals, turnovers, defensive rating, the Thunder have a huge advantage. So easily, the defensive side of the ball goes to the Thunder. We'll move on to the size of these teams. And once again, as expected, OKC dominates here. The first thing I looked at was total rebounds per game. In the normal season, OKC ranked 11th at a little over 44, while the Pacers were 28th at under 42 per game. In the playoffs, same thing. OKC over 44, which ranks 4th, while the Pacers dropped below 40 per game, which ranks 13th. Next, I looked at just offensive rebounds. In the normal season, OKC wasn't the best. They ranked 28th at a little over 10 per game, but the Pacers were even worse. They were under 10 per game, which is ranked 29th, which is second to last. In the playoffs, OKC bumped it up to 11.7, which ranks 7th, while the Pacers were under 7 per game in the playoffs, man. Under 7 per game, which is dead last when it comes to playoff teams. Next, I looked at defensive rebounds. In the normal season, the Thunder ranked 6th at a little over 34, while the Pacers were outside of the top 20 again, 22nd at under 33 per game. In the playoffs, the Thunder dropped down a little bit. They're a little over 32, which ranks 6th. And the Pacers are pretty even there in the playoffs. They're at 32 as well, ranking 7th. So playoff-wise, we're pretty even when it comes to defensive rebounds. And then the last thing I looked at was opponent points in the paint. So do these teams limit points in the paint? And the Thunder are amazing, as expected. Number one in the normal season at a little under 43 allowed per game, while the Pacers are outside of the top 20 again, ranking 26, allowing over 51 points in the paint per game. When it comes to playoffs, it's pretty much the same here. The Thunder dropped it down to under 41 per game, which ranks 3rd, while the Pacers are at over 48 per game, which ranks 11th. So the only thing that the Pacers really held their own in is defensive rebounds, but everything else, normal rebounds, offensive rebounds, opponent points in the paint. The Thunder don't just win; they absolutely dominate here, and it's as expected here. The Pacers are a smaller lineup, while the Thunder are very long, very big. They have the double big lineup of Chet and Hartenstein. So that's expected. The stats just back it up. Size advantage goes to the Thunder. Now let's move into the intangible things here. Let's go to experience. You guys know I am a huge believer in playoff experience. The better team doesn't always win if they're least experienced. We see it all the time. But let's see who has more experience between these two teams. The first thing I looked at was players on these teams that have played at least 10 playoff games, 10 plus. And it's pretty even. The Pacers have 13 players with 10 plus playoff games. The Thunder have 12. Then I went to 20 plus. Pacers have 11 players. OKC has 10. Pretty even. After that, once you get into 30 plus and above, the Pacers have a pretty big advantage. The Pacers have 9 players with 30 plus playoff games under their belt. OKC only has 5. 40 plus playoff games. Thunder only have 2. Pacers have 5. 50 plus. The Thunder don't have any players with 50 plus playoff games, while the Pacers have 3 guys. So when you just look at that, the Pacers have a big advantage. They have way more veteran players. They have way more players that have been in this moment way more times, are way more comfortable. Pacers have an advantage there. The next thing I looked at was conference finals experience. Obviously, all these teams, everyone on this team for both teams is going to have conference finals experience. They made the finals, obviously. So that was more of a big thing when I was looking at earlier series in the playoffs, but I still included it, but it doesn't really matter. But I also looked at NBA finals experience. Do any of these teams have players that have played in the NBA finals? And both teams do. The Thunder have Caruso, who won a championship with the Lakers, and the Pacers have Siakam, who won a championship with the Raptors. So they're even when it comes to finals experience, but other than that, the Pacers have a pretty big advantage when it comes to experience. The Thunder are a very young team. We know that. So does that come back to bite them? I don't know. We'll see. But just for this, I give the experience edge to the Pacers. And the last thing we got to look at is how clutch these teams are. So basically, I want to see this because there might be some close games in the NBA Finals. Can these teams win close games? Who's better at it? Who has more experience? That's basically what kind of what I want to see because it makes a difference. It does make a difference. We saw it. Think about how many buzzer beaters and clutch games were in the playoffs before this. Like, it happens every year, man. So the first thing I looked at was regular season clutch games. How many clutch games did these teams play? And the Pacers have a pretty big advantage. They played 38 clutch games in the normal season, which ranked 12th, while the Thunder only played 24, which ranks 30th. And it makes sense when you think about it because in the normal season, the Thunder were absolutely dominant. I saw some crazy stat where they won like over 60 games by 10 plus points. Like they absolutely dominated the regular season. So you can't play a clutch game if you're dominating. So the Pacers have way more in the normal season. And the win percentage is pretty even. Even though the Pacers played more, the win percentage is pretty even. In the normal season, the Pacers' win percentage was 63%, which ranks 4th, while the Thunder was 66%, which ranks 3rd. So the Thunder do have an advantage there, but the Pacers played 14 more games and are only 4% less. So I think I give the advantage to the Pacers there. Next, we looked at playoffs. Same thing, but for the playoffs. Both teams are pretty even. Both teams have played around the same amount of clutch games in the playoffs. The Thunder have played 7, which ranks 4th, and the Pacers have played 8, which ranks 2nd. So pretty even there. But once again, the Pacers have a higher winning percentage, 87% in clutch games in the playoffs, which is number 1, while the Thunder are only at 71%, which ranks 4th. So the Thunder aren't bad, but the Pacers are just better at those clutch games, man. So once again, advantage to the Pacers. Next, I looked at clutch points per game. So basically, how many points do these teams score per clutch game? In the normal season, the Pacers were at 11.2, which ranks 2nd, while the Thunder were only at 6.9, which was second to last at ranking only 29th. In the playoffs, Thunder at a little under 11, which ranks 4th. Pacers over 11, which ranks 3rd. Pacers are a clutch team, man. Obviously, they hit so many buzzer beaters in the playoffs, as expected. And then the next thing I looked at was the number 1 players on these teams. Halliburton, SGA. How clutch are these guys? So I looked at total clutch points in the regular season. Halliburton was inside the top 10, number 9 with 100 clutch points. Shea, only 67, which ranks 36th. But he played less games, so that's kind of expected. Like when you play less games, you're going to have less points. But then I filtered it to playoffs. These teams played the same amount of games, or close to it, Halliburton has 31, which ranks 2nd. Shea has 28. SGA has 28, which ranks 3rd. So not much of an advantage there. It's kind of a wash. When you look at everything else, clutch games in the normal season and playoffs, win percentage in clutch games, clutch points per game, the Pacers have a huge advantage there. And like I said, it's not really a knock on OKC. It's not that they're bad at it. They just played way less games, So they just have way less experience in these clutch games, which makes a difference. So like if one of these games in the finals it comes down to the wire, you probably give the advantage to the Pacers. But the thing is, the Thunder are a very dominant team, so it has to become close. The Pacers have to make it close, But I do give the advantage to the Pacers when it comes to clutchness. So if you score out all 5 of the key factors, the Thunder do have the slight advantage here, 3-2. The Thunder are better at offense, defense, and size, while the Pacers are better when it comes to experience and clutchness. So the Pacers are better at all the intangible stuff, as expected when you're are more experienced and have more veterans. So the last thing we got to do is I got to give my prediction, right? I got to give my prediction for this series. and I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder, and my prediction is Thunder in 5. I really think the Thunder can sweep this series. I just can't predict that because a sweep never happens, but don't be surprised if the Thunder sweep. The Thunder are just a better team by far, in my opinion. The Pacers have, it might not be 5, maybe the Pacers win 2, but like the Pacers have, in my opinion, no chance of winning the series. Maybe the Pacers get lucky and bring it to a game 7, but they're not winning. There's no way, man. There's no way. The Thunder are just a better team. I will say, I'll give Indiana credit a little bit here. This is how they can win. I'll give you some ways how they can win. They play at a very high pace. Indiana's a very high pace team. We've seen it. And OKC doesn't like playing at a high pace. They like playing good defense, slow the pace down. So if Indiana can make OKC play high pace with them, Indiana can win some games. Because Indiana win. Basically, if Indiana can make you run with them, Indiana's going to win. Another thing is Indiana is shooting the lights out. Over 40%. We talked about it earlier. The Thunder have not been shooting that well in the playoffs. So if it becomes a game where it's just shooter versus shooter, Indiana can win that game. And Indiana has also shown they can make high-pressure shots and win close games. We just talked about it with experience. If it's a down-to-the-wire game, close game, Indiana can win. So those are 3 ways the Pacers have a chance. Keep the high pace, make the Thunder play high pace with you. If it becomes a shootout, the Pacers have an advantage. And if it's a close game, the Pacers have an advantage. But, like I said earlier, it has to become a close game. The Pacers have to stay in the game. They can't let the Thunder dominate on both sides of the ball like they have been. Think about this. You have to think about this. I'm not saying the Pacers are a bad team. They're not a bad team by any means. But the Thunder dominated Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. The Pacers have Halliburton and Turner. You know, like there's levels to it, man. I'm not a Gobert fan, but Anthony Edwards is way better. And then just bring it to Jokic, the best player in the world. They made Jokic so uncomfortable. Like, this OKC team is so dominant, man. It's so dominant. Like, the Pacers really are going to have to work their butts off to even stay close in these games, man. OKC size will just be too much for Indiana, man. Like, they have Turner and, like, Tony Bradley and Thomas Bryant. Like I get Indiana's used to playing small ball, but Chet and Hardenstein on the court at the same time? How is Indiana going to have answers for that, man? And it's not just them two. Jalen Williams is very long. SGA is very long. Like, they have the other Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, the other one, who's also very long. Like, I just don't think Indiana has any answer for this size of OKC. OKC's defense is elite as well, and it's like all-time elite. Not just like a good defense. This is like all-time elite defense. Like, forcing turnovers per game, forcing steals per game, getting blocks, running fast break points, like everything. Like, Indiana's going to have a tough time here, man. I will say Halliburton is a low turnover guy. The Pacers don't turn the ball over a lot. But it don't matter when it comes to this OKC team. They have Caruso and Lou Dort. Those guys are defensive specialists. All they do is guard. They don't even care about scoring. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't know if Indiana has an answer for that. And the last thing, like I said earlier, just playoff experience. Indiana has played the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Knicks. Those teams don't even come close defensively to the Thunder. Indiana has not faced a defense like this. I get they're hitting clutch shots, they're scoring points, they're running up the score. They're not doing that against the Thunder, man. Like, if the Pacers are gonna, I'd be very surprised if the Pacers score 130. Like, they were easily scoring like 115, 120, 130 against the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Knicks. I don't think that's gonna happen, man. The Thunder's defensive rating in the playoffs is under 105 points. If it's like that, the Pacers aren't gonna win. They're not built to win like that. If OKC slows down the pace and forces Indiana to a half-court offense, OKC's defense will cook. Like I said, the Pacers are a high-paced team. They like going out, running, getting easy buckets, wide-open threes, easy layups. If OKC makes them slow down, run the half-court offense, the Indiana does not have a chance. I'm telling you, man, Indiana does not have a chance. I don't think you guys realize how dominant this OKC team is defensively. So, basically, that's a long-winded way of saying OKC is going to dominate. They might sweep. I'm taking Thunder in 5. Let me know your thoughts. Do the Pacers have a chance? Let me know your thoughts. Is OKC going to sweep? Let me know if you think OKC is going to sweep, because I think it's very possible. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.